Hi, it's Therese from Lost in Paper and I'm here for Altenew, and I've got the Bunny Love set and wanted to make a fairly clean and simple card, but this one's going to have a 3D shaker sentiment, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. First I'm going to start out by stamping my bunny. I am using the Memento Tuxedo Black and I want to do some Copic colouring, but first I want to add some extra details to this bunny, and I'm using my Copic multi-liner to do that. And that's just simply drawing in little bits of extra details to the actual stamp. I wanted her to be smiling. So I know that this pen is Copic friendly and it's not going to bleed when I start sort of adding all the colour a little bit later on. It's really easy to do. I did actually leave this to dry just for a short while. I don't think that it really matters too much. I am doing some very simple Copic colouring here. I will list all the colours at my blog and the link will be in the YouTube description below. So I'm just going to quickly colour her and then cut her out. I'll be right back after all that's done. Alright, so now I'm going to start working on the sentiment, and I've got the Way Too Sweet set with its matching die. The good thing about this set, the sentiments in this set, is that they all fit within the die, and I'm just roughly working out. I have a panel, it's cut to the same size as my card, which is 15 by 10.5 centimeters, and then I just hold the die in place and run that through my die cutting machine. So I also want to stamp a little background behind where my bunny is going to be, and I have some images there from the Beautiful You stamp set, including these little flowers here. Now these two are actually joined together in a stamp, but I figured they'd be more use to me if I did cut them apart, so I just very carefully did that with a sharp pair of scissors, making sure that I didn't actually cut any of the actual area that was going to be stamped. Now I want the background to be just fairly clean and simple, and I am going to Copic colour that. The panel is going to be in the front of the card, so you're not going to see the Copic colours, because the Copic colours do bleed through the cardstock, and you won't see that because it's going to be placed on the front of my card. I'm also going to add a little bit of shading beneath where the bunny's going to sit on the card front, and I'm doing that with some simple sort of a dotted technique. Now for my 3D sentiment, I have, now this is an ink that's good for glossy cardstock, so you could use something like a StazOn, but this is actually the Jet Black Ranger ink, which does take time to dry on the acetate, which is what I'm using, and this is a really quite a thick acetate that I've got here, so I can actually use my heat tool on this without it warping, but if you did have the time, you could set it aside to dry. It does take at least sort of 20 minutes. And I've stamped out the sentiment twice, added some adhesive to the back of my front panel, and then I've also, on my second sentiment, I've going to pop up the well for my shaker. Because I want to make this like a shaker portion, I did need to make sure that they were going to be lined up So, and I wanted to, before I added it to the front of my card, if that makes sense, it just thought it would be easier. So I've actually added the fun foam to the second sentiment. So this is how I'm going to get that sort of 3D look with my sentiment. Now I do have to line these two sentiments up so that if you look at it straight on, they do match. But if you look at it from an angle, you can see that there's two there, and I just thought that was a bit of fun. Okay, now I'm going to adhere this whole panel to the front of my card. I'm just using my stamp runner on the acetate and then some score tape on the rest of the fun foam. Popping up my little bunny as well. This is just with some foam squares. Isn't she cutie? I did decide to add a couple of details to her as well, and one was the white gel pen and just some simple dots to both the bow and to her skirt. But do beware, because the gel pen does take quite a while to dry, so when you are adding this, make sure that you set it aside and try not to rub it with your fingers. I've done that myself, it's a pain. And also I thought a fluffy pom-pom tail would be good, but I just didn't like the way it looked popped up on top of her. It didn't look like it was part of her. So what I did was cut the tail off her and adhere it directly to the front panel, and that's my finished card. Thanks for joining me today. I've had a blast. I'll see you again real soon. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.